This week, I've managed to watch Fight Club, American Psycho, and Rick and Morty. It feels right now, just like the YouTube algorithm, I am just one swipe away from becoming an alt-right Sigma male. But why is that? I don't want to start a fight club. Believe it or not, I thought he was a psycho, and this is just an abuser role-playing as himself. A vast majority of people come away from this type of media unscathed, but a small subsection of the internet seems to hang on to a very specific aspect, find a group of like-minded people, and spiral further into this depiction of an ideal man. So how important is an artist's intent? Is there an objectively wrong way to interpret things? Can I get a body like Brad Pitt? How important is media literacy? Fight Club centres on our rundown narrator in a dead-end job, genuinely unfulfilled in life until Tyler Durden comes into it. Now, there seems to be a reason why this becomes every teenager's favourite film. It is a pretty standard lost soul power trip trope, but you're quickly put in our main character's shoes as they finally find meaning in the mundane. It tickles your prostate with a healthy dose of testosterone, cool guy swagger, and naked wrestling. It tells you every guy wants to look like this, which, to be fair, isn't entirely untrue.
Every dude for the last 20 years that wants to get into shape comes in and says the same thing. I have the ideal male body that I'm trying to achieve, and I already know what it is. And I said, oh, really? What is it? He goes, Brad Pitt Fight Club.
If I could have anything, I'd really like to have... did you ever see the movie Fight Club? I really like the way Brad Pitt's abs looked in Fight Club. And he said, without hesitating, he said, that's all diet. You have to eat a lot of carrots.
Brad Pitt is so hot that the blinders come on as everything unfolds in the latter half. There were several reports of people starting their own fight clubs, and I think it's fair to say these people got the wrong idea. This film is commenting on masculinity overcorrecting itself and how the average person is treated under capitalism looking for a way to lash out at the system. They dial this up to 11 and use gratuitous violence to shock you into how bad this can become. It doesn't offer this as some clever solution or means you should wallow in it. A similar thing seems to have happened to American Psycho, which takes you on a satirical journey of a life of excess and the dangerous people that must exist within it. On a surface level, however, we see a well-dressed, rich, successful, just absolute top shagger that has a mental illness just like me. It also strikes that same masculine part of the brain that makes impressionable people view them as a role model. Now, it's very clear to a lot of us that the artists involved have not meant this in any way. Just see here.
What do I like?
Yeah.
I like nothing about him. I mean, he's a completely unredeeming character, you know, and I didn't attempt to make him sympathetic at all. But what makes him entertaining is the fact that
he has no redeeming value.
But at the same time, he finds himself in so many ridiculous situations and reacts in such a ridiculous manner. You know, he's certainly somebody that I wouldn't want to, you know, be at a table with and eating, but I'd certainly want to eavesdrop on his conversation.
People still seem to take away Bateman's overall violence and misogyny, however, which is something teenagers are known to do. So is it the film's fault, or is it the fault of that one person who decides to play this cringe backing track to a Joe Rogan podcast and meme culture's use of the word Sigma? It's entirely possible that a clip or two like this is someone's first exposure to the film, and by the time that they put it on to watch, they are on the completely wrong wavelength and interpret this in a vastly different way. Surely it can't be the viewer's fault, though. This is an art form after all, and anyone can derive meaning from anything, even if they are so determined to find a certain meaning from the text that they convince themselves of it. It is a film's job to be able to communicate certain ideas in a coherent way, and I think regardless of your intent, there is a certain amount of responsibility on how the media is consumed. But how far do you go to consider external factors and potential audiences? My favourite part about films is sharing different ideas and different experiences while watching it. One answer that can explain a viewer's perspective is the basic interpretation that a main character is good, a notion we stepped away from decades ago, however, is still present today. They are our vessel in the world presented, and due to this, their opinions are arguably going to hold more weight than anyone else, so their reasonings are the takeaway, regardless of the impact on external characters and the world. Just think of Joaquin's Joker, or the hate Skyler gets when watching Breaking Bad. Skyler, just let him cook meth, oh my god! This brings us to Rick and Morty. Now, Rick is an asshole. He's callous, rude, and does some seriously messed up things, but you make him our main character, sprinkle in some tragic moments, and hordes of teenagers suddenly think that since this assholery is understandable, it is now justified. Completely negating the fact that the end product is still the same. When the show got popular, there was a large influx of the fanbase acting funny, which produced cringe like this.
The new catchphrase.
Oh, yeah? What's that, Rick?
I love my grandkids.
Aww.
Psych, just kidding. My new catchphrase is, I don't give a
Just shake that ass, bitch, and let me see what you
This all seemed to culminate in the Szechuan sauce fiasco, which truly was a dark time for us all. I really want to think that this was not the intent of the creators, but it did happen and they didn't do anything to counteract this. Episodes like ABC of Beth and Pickle Rick seem to voice problematic opinions even more so, and recent events seem to confirm where the show's voice is coming from. Saying stupid shit like,
"Am I evil?"
Worse, you're smart.
As if that somehow absolves you of your sin just because you think you're better than people. Hell, even in Pickle Rick, he voices why therapy doesn't work, and of course the viewer would naturally lean into sharing the opinion of the main character who they've spent all this time with, compared to a woman they just met. Now look at BoJack Horseman, where a similar trend started to emerge. The creator decided to tackle this by making our main character even worse of a person. They even confront the viewer via superb monologue delivered by Diane that is as close to speaking into the camera as possible, just so you can't avoid it.
You came.
Flip, I screwed up. I didn't know it would feel like that, to be in that room, to hear people cheering for Filbert.
What are you talking about?
When I first started on this job, I wanted to make Filbert more well-rounded so the audience could relate to him better.
And now you're upset because I didn't mention you in my introduction. Diane, the whole point of television is it's a collaborative medium where one person gets all the credit.
No, it's not about that. I made him more vulnerable, and that made him more likable, which makes for a better TV show. But if Filbert is just a way to help dumb assholes rationalize their own awful behavior, well, I'm sorry, but we can't put this out there.
It's out there. The whole season's dropping at midnight all over the world.
I can't be here.
Now, a TV show has more opportunity to steer itself in a different direction throughout its journey, rather than a film's straight shot, but the problem is still transcendent. Maybe the only solution is to simply put it as bluntly as you can. Make Mr. Fight Club wink at the camera and say, this is bad, ruin the nuance and the experience of the majority of people, but it could solve the problem. Granted, maybe not in Fight Club's case, because how do you convince people that beating up Jared Leto is bad? Actually, come to think of it.
Hey, Paul!
Now, if we blame it all on memes, you could say that it's all ironic, but have we not gone through so many layers of irony that this has now become the truth? I partake in the odd literally me every now and then, but it doesn't take much to find someone who actually believes it. I suppose this isn't a major problem. It does seem to be a small amount of the audience, but I fear it does affect their lives. People who think Joker and Harley Quinn are relationship goals make me fear for anyone on Hinge. Media literacy has only become more important as technology has advanced, even with colleges now teaching courses on how to digest various bits of media. It's not the viewer's fault. We could blame lack of education, but the fun thing is that everything I've outlined in this video may just be me getting the wrong impression. All I can do is emphasize the fact that we need to dig one layer deeper to what our takeaways on a film may be. Don't emulate someone you saw in the film, no matter how many good personalities dropped in that month. And for the love of God, get better business cards.
Let's see Paul Allen's card.
Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it.
That's the end of the video. If you've made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing. On the screen are the various video sources I used throughout. I'll also link to a playlist down below if you want to also give them a view. I guess I'll Catch you in the next one.